Awesome. I think that I am live. I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything's working here. Those of you out there, can you give me a thumbs up or something? Put something in the comments. Let me know that you can hear me. My voice is just about gone, but I am so excited to be able to be here sharing this with you because today, if you did not hear, I was able to send in the last payment on my car and to be able to have money coming in overnight like this. I want to be able to help as many other people out there as I can be able to live this kind of life, to be able to have their time back, be able to have their joy. So go ahead, let me know in the comments if you can hear me, okay, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Also in the comments, go ahead and let me know where you're from. I hope that you're having a fabulous day wherever it is that you're from. Let me know what state you're in. Are you having like a winter blast, or what is the weather there? I'd love to be able to connect with you. So again, let me know in the comments. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, let me know in the comments where it is that you're from. We just had a lot of cold weather for like a week straight. We hadn't had cold weather all winter, and then suddenly it's back to rain today. So it's actually kind of nice. I'm in Washington State, for those of you who don't know, Pacific Northwest. It's beautiful here. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started, but so excited to be able to join you this afternoon and to be able to share just my heart with you, my excitement with you, and be able to give you hope for this year, hope for 2025, for you to be able to meet all of the goals that you have in your heart. And maybe you had a goal going into the new year, or maybe you were on, kind of a little scared about setting a goal for yourself and then maybe disappointing yourself. I've been there as well. And so, again, I just want to welcome you. Thank you for being here with me. I'm going to quickly share a little bit about my story if you haven't heard much of my story yet, and then we'll go ahead and dive on in to what I have planned for you. I'm also going to be leaving some time to be able to answer questions, to be able to connect with you. And that's really what I'm here to be able to do, is to hang out with you, be able to answer any questions. So real quick, a little bit about my story. My name is Lee Meyer, and I have 4 kids now. I started reselling when I only had 3 kids, still a lot. The littlest one, he was a baby. Well, the third one, he was a baby. And now, have added now a 4th one. And reselling for about 7 years. And what got me started was making some money. I was just kind of decluttering out of my own house and selling random odds and ends. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to even sell anything on eBay. I don't even know if Poshmark was really a thing at that point. And then I also sold some things at a garage sale, and it ended up being like, between all these random different things, about $700 to $800. I don't remember the exact amount. And I was going, wow, I put in a lot of work. It felt like a lot of money at the time, but at the same time, I was like, that took a lot of work. And then I started thinking, what would happen if I put this money towards debt, towards our mortgage, where we were paying, I don't know, 3.5% interest or something like that? That would essentially double my money for like interest saved in the long run. And so I'm like, okay, instead of the 700 or 800, that would be more like $1,500 or $1,600. Okay, like this is starting to get more exciting. That is worth it more. And then it was shortly after that a friend mentioned her eBay business. I'm like, eBay business? That's a business? Awesome, you're the best. Thanks so much for the comment. And she mentioned that eBay business. I just was like, what are you even talking about? That can't be a business. Like, I've sold things on eBay, but a business. And so that's kind of what got me started. And I was going, okay, if I can do this, I can make money selling things. And I was like, how do you do it? She says, oh, I go to the thrift store and then sell stuff online. Really? It's that easy? It's not that easy. I'll tell you that. But I mean, anybody can do it, right? And so I started, and I'm like, you know what? That is going to be my goal, is to be able to get my mortgage paid off. I was sitting at around $103,000 on that loan, and work towards that. I was paying for my kids' preschool, some different other various things. It wasn't just all going towards debt, but I was actually able to get that mortgage paid off last year. I don't remember what month it was, but sometime in the spring. And then just today, I was able to send in an extra payment on my car, or the final payment on my car. I've been sending in extra as money's been coming in, and I was about $600 short of getting it paid off. That came in overnight. And I'm like, it's getting done. I am, going to show up today, going live to be able to share this excitement with you, to share that hope with you. And I fully believe that you can reach $100,000 for yourself. And I know that you can. And you might be going, okay, like, how do you know? And it's because others are doing it. Others just like you that are following the same process that I'm going to be sharing with you are doing it and succeeding. So that's how I have that confidence that I know that you can even this year. And I know that that might sound crazy to you. I know that that might be a stretch. It might be hard to believe, but I want you to let that hope rise up that that can be your destiny in 2025. And so I want to encourage you to just envision for yourself what $100,000 would even look like for you. Maybe you even have a hard time picturing what that would look like, but you're not ever going to get there if you can't picture what it would feel like, what it would do for you. So I want you to take a second and to imagine what $100,000 could do for you, could do for your family, could do for the people around you. Would it mean that you would be able to go on an amazing vacation this summer, few amazing vacations? Would it mean that you would be able to tell your boss that you're not coming back? Would it mean that you could have time with your family? There's so many people who've got, either little kids or taking care of parents, got other responsibilities, and you just want that time. You can't ever get that time back, right? Especially if you've got kids, that kids grow. They're not ever going to be there forever. And so, how would that change things for you? If you could get your time back with your family and go and make memories now, have the money to make memories now, have the time to be able to make memories now. And debt, like, what would that do for you? Maybe you've got student loans, maybe you've got car loans, maybe a mortgage, maybe you're trying to save for a house. And what would that do for you if you could go and just pay those off? Or have enough money where you could go and put a big down payment on a house and say, hey, you're calling the realtor and, hey, I'm ready. I've got money in the bank. Let's do this. Like, how would that make you feel? I would love to be able to just connect with you and hear what your dreams and goals are. If you want to put that in the comments, I'd love to be able to believe for you, come into agreement with you, and we can believe for that together, because I know that that can be your reality. And I know that that can happen for you, but you have to believe it first. Like, that's not ever going to happen if you don't believe it's not going to happen, right? And so I just want to really encourage you that that can happen for you in 2025. You don't have to have any sort of special background to make this happen. And I'm going to be talking more about that. And so I just want to, take a second and envision what $100,000 would do for you, how that would set you free. How different would you feel waking up in the morning and you have an extra 100,000 in the bank account? Would it be this new lightness, this new freedom? And that's where Listing to Freedom came from. That's why I called my brand Listing to Freedom, is because I'm here to be able to offer that freedom. I'm here to be able to help you have that freedom in your life. So I want to break down exactly what it looks like to be able to make $100,000 in 2025. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, but just hang with me as we work through some of the numbers. I'm going to be going through some of the math here, breaking this all down for you. Now, I do have to say my kids borrowed my whiteboard, so I'm going to be using a cereal box. So it's just what I happen to be able to dig out of the recycling last minute. And so I'm going to go ahead and write these numbers down to be able to share with you. So 100,000 in 2025 was over here. And then we could break that down to 12 out of 12 months, but Today's the last day of January. So we're down to almost, 11 months left. So what I'm actually going to do, broken over 12 months, that's $8,333. That's the 12-month number. But if we break it down over 11 months, that ends up being 9,000 a month. So you need to, work a little bit harder because, we're already about through January, right? And so that would be the equivalent of making about $9,000 a month. And maybe that number is a little bit more imaginable or envisionable. Is that a word? Maybe that you can envision that a little bit easier. Like, how would an extra 9,000 a month change your family's finances, change your life? So that 9,000, if you do the math, 9,000 times 11 months, that works out to about, I'm pointing in the wrong place, that works out to about $100,000. So that's just kind of a quick breakdown of what the math looks like behind making $100,000 in 2025. And that's counting, if you haven't made anything yet this year. So that's kind of, I guess, worst case scenario. And so I'm going to show you kind of two different routes to be able to go to get there. And the first, we're going to say that we're looking at about $20 a sale. So if you're making $20 on average a sale, that's, profit, that's after expenses, after all of your, shipping, inventory, whatever other expenses that you have. If you're making $20 a sale, you need 455 sales per month. So I'm going to go ahead and write that number down for you. Now may sound like a lot if you're not a full-time reseller. That's a lot. That's about, my brain isn't working right here. That's over 100 items a week, right? 4 weeks in a month. So over 100 items a week, that's a lot to be able to list if you've got a full-time job. If you're trying to make money in part-time hours, you've got other responsibilities, family, kids, whatever that is. And then I'm going to also do a quick comparison of, instead of $20 per sale, what would happen if we made $50 per sale? And so I did the math on my calculator. If I did this correctly, this works out to about 181 sales per month. So that's still pretty close to about 50. Does that sound about right? 40 to 50 sales per week at $50 per sale, which is, pretty high. Like, you would have to have pretty good inventory to be making that. Probably most people, are hovering around 20 or maybe even lower in a lot of cases. And a lot of this is dependent on what you have to be able to sell, what you have around you to be able to source, right? All right, and then I'm going to do an opposite comparison for you. And that is, and again, stay with me on this because it might sound a little weird, but I'm going to do a comparison. So we did $20 a sale, $50 a sale, and then I'm going to do 900 a sale. And again, that might sound just crazy, but hang with me for a second. So 900 a sale to be able to hit our goal, that 9,000. That is only a little over 10 sales, 10.1 sales for the month. I'm going to go ahead and write per month. That is all that it takes to be able to hit the 9,000 over the next 11 months, and then 100,000 in 2025. This, by the way, is the equivalent of about one sale every 3 days. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down, one sale every 3 days. That is all that it takes to be able to hit a number like 9,000 a month, because we're having to work a little bit harder since January has already gone by to get you to that 100,000 for 2025. Now, you might be wondering, what could you make $900 from? And so what I'm going to be talking about is actually where a ton of money is being spent. Every single day, there's actually about over $1 billion being spent every single day on the type of product that I'm talking about. So $1.2 billion, and it's actually set to be growing to $3 billion by, and this is per day, by 2027. So that's 2 years out. We're looking at an industry where you could have $900 coming in and $1.2 billion is being spent on this every single day. Now, I've tried to do some comparisons of what this looks like compared to, the resale market of clothes and it's really, really difficult to pin down a number because there's so many different, I mean, do you include used cars? Like, what do you include? Used cars are on eBay. I don't, it's really difficult to pin down a number. The best that I can pin down is about, maybe a third of that is being spent currently on physical products, on what you are used to as a reseller of turning around and flipping a physical item. This 1.2 billion is actually in the digital space. This is the biggest industry that is out there right now. And frankly, the best way to be able to make money. I'm going to explain more kind of the pros and cons about the different options of, physical versus digital. But it's still what I am talking about is still reselling. And I'm going to explain exactly what I mean because I had no idea a few months ago that there was anything like this out there where you're essentially doing the same thing, just like, maybe you go to the store and you get a pair of Levi's jeans. You didn't make the jeans, you didn't have to know how to sew them together, but you turn around and you sell them online. The same thing can happen in the digital space where you have a product that you go and get, just like you went and got a pair of jeans, and then you turn around and sell it. You didn't have to come up with it. You didn't have to make it. And I'm going to be explaining exactly what this is and exactly how this works. And let me go ahead and check where I am in my notes. And what you might not realize about this is that you don't have to know something to teach. So that's what a lot of people get held back in hearing about digital is they think that they have to, be really smart. They have to know something about something to be able to teach other people. You don't have to. Again, what I'm going to be sharing with you is actually just reselling. It's not any different than what you're used to. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to be techie. And it's a thing that is called master resale rights. I'm going to go ahead and write that one down for you. You may see that abbreviated from time to time as MRR. And this can be similar. You may have heard of things like private label rights, where people on Etsy a lot of times sell things with private label rights, where you can kind of change the colors, change the fonts, and then sell it as your own. With master resale rights or resale rights, you don't have to change anything. You can just turn around and resell it, and you actually are able to make 100% profit from that. So that's really cool because what that means is everything's going straight into your pocket. So let's do a really quick comparison to, let's say, a shirt. So maybe you went down to your local thrift store and you found a really cool vintage shirt, let's say. And you look at the price tag and you're like, okay, it's $10. Maybe I can get 50 for it. You're like, okay, maybe that's worth it. You spend the $10. Okay, that's your sourcing, that's your cost of goods, right? And then you may have other fees. You may have shipping supplies. Maybe you offer free shipping and then you have to pay for the shipping. So you've got these different expenses that go into, getting that sale on that item. And you're only left with a portion, right? After seller fees, after cost of goods, if you're selling on Poshmark, 20% of that's going to Poshmark, I guess more or less approximately, let's say. Fees are changing so much these days. I can't even keep track of every platform right now, but 10 to 20%, depending on the platform, along with what's charged on top of shipping. Let's say for eBay, you've got fees on that shipping portion as well. So roughly 10 to 20%, is going to the seller fee. At the end of the day, when you go and sell a pair of jeans, pair of shorts, whatever that is, you don't have 100% profit left in your pocket, right? You have maybe, if you're lucky, maybe you have 50% left. So with what I'm sharing with you, you actually get to keep that 100%, which is amazing for something that you didn't have to create, and to have no expenses along with it, no kind of operational expenses, no, I'm trying to think like a comparison for maybe a comparison might be if you've got an eBay store, you have that reoccurring expense every month. With this, there's no kind of reoccurring expenses. So it truly is, 100% profit. And then I want to give you, I didn't write down a number, but about 8 different kind of things to think about when you're looking at the difference between digital and physical, and kind of what those differences is, what those pros and cons are. So one of them is shipping. And a lot of people, maybe you like shipping. For me, it was getting to the point of I kind of panic when I hear the mail truck thinking, did I get everything out? But one of the interesting things about shipping, when it comes to digital products, obviously you don't have to ship digital items. They're kind of delivered electronically on the computer, so you don't have that shipping piece. So it can be, less tasks that you have to do. But it can also mean that you have a customer base worldwide. So, eBay, you can certainly ship to a lot of different countries, but a lot of times the cost is prohibitive to, say, shipping. I sold a jacket to, I believe it was New Zealand or Australia, and the buyer paid like $60. And this was a few years ago. It's probably even more now. They paid $60 just in shipping. Like, that's going to be pretty cost prohibitive to having customers worldwide. When you have a digital product, you don't have any of those kind of boundaries. And so it's really easy to actually have a global business and to have customers coming from different countries that you never even imagined, getting to meet people in these other countries, getting to help people in these other countries, in Africa, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Those are a couple other ones, the Philippines, just all over the world, to be able to have that sort of impact. So that's one of the kind of considerations or differences to think about. The next is with inventory. So a lot of times I get people coming to me and they're like, I don't have a lot of inventory space, or, maybe they're living in a, traveling in an RV or something, or a small apartment, living in a small apartment, don't have a lot of storage space. It's like, okay, what can you sell? With digital, you don't have any of that kind of worry when it comes to inventory, about going out and getting inventory, about having to store that inventory. I also hear from a lot of people who live very rurally. I had one person who didn't even get mail every single day. And so that can be a little bit of a detriment, or a little bit of the obstacle, I'll say, when it comes to reselling physical products and having to go, if you're driving 100 miles to a thrift store, that may not make it worth it. Of course, there's other options online, but reselling physical products and going out and sourcing kind of locally, it works for most people, but it's not going to work for every single person. I'm going to say that. If you live in Nome, Alaska, and or maybe that, I don't know where else, maybe you don't have stores close by. Maybe it's not cost prohibitive, or maybe it is cost prohibitive to get things online. That could be that could cause problems for you, because with your reselling business, you have to have inventory, right? That's just a piece of it. When you go to digital, you can totally break away from that. You don't have any of that storage, that going out and getting inventory, that managing inventory. And then another piece that was really big for me is the scalability of your income. So anytime that you're dealing with physical products and sourcing and shipping and having to store, having to go get stuff, you're going to always be limited by maybe the amount of time in the day, the amount of storage space that you have. At some point, you are going to hit a ceiling where you go, okay, there's no possible way that I can make any more money short of going and hiring employees, short of going and getting a warehouse. And they're not to say that you can't do that. A lot of people do that, but there's also a lot of people, myself included, who don't, want the hassle of that, who don't want the expense of that, who, don't want to be having employees and managing all of that. And so it can be difficult to scale when you have a physical product. On the other hand, when you have digital, you can actually scale a whole lot easier and be able to bring in more money, even when you're not putting in more time, because as your business grows, it's almost kind of this exponential growth that you're going to see. And it really does break you free from that ceiling. You might find, okay, my income's growing, and you hit 500 a month, 2,000 a month, whatever that is for you, whatever that looks like for your life, whether you're working a job, got kids, how much spare time you have. You're going to get to a point where you're like, I'm maxed out. I can't do any more. I can try and source better items. I can try and get more money for my items, but how much more is that going to get me? A little bit more. you're going to keep running into that ceiling over and over again. And with digital, that whole ceiling is just blown off, like blown out of the water. Sorry, as far as the potential when it comes to what you can make. Uh, Another piece of it, I kind of hit a little bit on this a second ago with the shipping, is with digital, you have the ability with technology these days to be able to have automatic fulfillment. So somebody can come in, purchase, it's automatically fulfilled. It's totally hands-free. And so that can make it a lot more passive, where the entire sales process, I'm going to be showing you what this looks like here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And I'm going to explain how this works in the digital space as far as making sales. And so the first step, this is to have a page, and this is all set up for you in the program that I'm sharing with you. So you don't have to have any of the tech skills. You don't have to know how to do any of the stuff. It's essentially handed to you kind of on a golden platter. The very first step is to have a way to be able to collect leads. So leads are potential customers. They're people who are interested in what you have in your product. And so with that, you have essentially a website, just like somebody might go to your, Poshmark, in your closet and go and check out your item, or go to your eBay store, check out your item. It's the same thing. It's just a web page that's out there. But what that is actually going to do is there's going to be a spot on that where you're going to collect their email address. That's number one in any sort of online business these days, is to collect email. This goes for anything. So this is like, online business basics right here, is to have that lead page. Again, you don't have to know the coding behind it or how to set up a web page or any of that. You're essentially handed it. You're putting in your own information of your name, your information. And then as soon as somebody goes and puts in their information, they're like, yes, I want to be able to learn more about what you have. Then what's going to happen is there is actually a video page where they can go and watch a video about, what it is that you have and how it can help them. And they're going, okay, I want to learn more. This sounds really interesting. And then from there, you can have a page where you've actually got, it's what's called a sales page. And that's where you've got your products available. So they're able to click through by capturing that email back here, step one, where am I? That allows you to be able to come back. So if they don't purchase right away, you can always follow up with them with emails. And I'll explain that here in a second, because that is also automated as well. You don't have to be at your computer, hitting send. Your computer can be closed. You can be out at the beach. You can be traveling, and those are going to be going out. But I do have people that with the system that I follow, the system that I'm sharing with you, who come through, who put in their email, learn more, and they're going, oh yes, I'm ready. And the sale comes through immediately. So with this is essentially going to be where you have a button for somebody to be able to purchase, and they're purchasing directly from you. So with those master resale rights, it's not an MLM. It's not making somebody else rich, because you have that resale right. You're getting 100% profit. So the button that you have on your sales page is going directly to you wherever you want to get paid. If it's PayPal, you want to get paid, a Stripe account, a Square account, wherever that is that you want to get set up to take payments, you're going to have that on your sales page. So somebody could come through, hear about what you have, learn more, and then go and purchase. And so, and then I mentioned about those emails. And so I'm going to explain that really quick, because that's another kind of automated piece of this business is not everybody will purchase right away. People do, and that happens. But a lot of times it can take a little while. It might take 3 days for somebody to kind of think about it. Maybe they're waiting for a paycheck to come in, and maybe, 6-7 days down the road, they're ready. And so in the meantime, because you've collected their email, this is why when you go to the grocery store, when you go, anywhere these days, you're always asked for your email. This is so that they can follow up with you via email, because it works. This is the number one way that money is made in the online space, in online business these days, is through email marketing. Now with those emails, again, those are automatic. And so as soon as somebody puts in their email, that's going to get them into that email system that's following up. approximately a day apart, just letting them know more, sharing other testimonials, other people who are having success. And so hopefully that kind of explains how this is like automated. The entire sales process is automated. It's out there, working for you. So those emails, again, they're going out all the time. If somebody, gets an email at midnight, maybe they signed up at midnight, it comes the next 24 hours later at midnight. They see it and they're like, yes, I'm ready. You wake up to a sale that happened overnight. Maybe just the other day I was like at violin lessons, sale comes in. It happens from this. Out, swimming lessons, sale comes in, happens from this. Driving my kids around, which is my life right now, sale happens. It happens because of this automation system that's out there working. And so, okay, where was I? Automatic fulfillment. I did hit on the substantially bigger profits with digital products. The reason for that, and I want to just clarify this a little bit further or explain a little bit further, is that I want you to think to maybe a pair of jeans. I don't know why I'm on a jean kick today. Pair of jeans that you maybe have for sale, and somebody comes and buys those. Somebody's excited for a little bit. They're getting a new pair of jeans. It comes in the mail. They're excited. But when you can offer a digital product that can help somebody learn how to make money, that can help somebody learn how to make money in the online space, that can help somebody make money passively, that can change their life, people are willing to pay substantially more for that because you're changing their life. So part of that is that bigger profits, it goes along with that willingness to pay more. So when I say $900, I know that that might seem crazy if you're used to selling $10 or $20, you're used to seeing 20, maybe $50, $100 would be a really good sale for you. But imagine for a second, what that would feel like to have $900, wake up to $900 that have come in. I just heard my baby wake up, so I'm going to let her hopefully try and go back to sleep. If you do hear screaming, I just put her down like 30 minutes ago. But you really are truly helping somebody when you have a product like this that can change their life. And I'm hearing so many stories every single day of people whose lives are being changed around the world. Moms in South Africa, single moms. I heard another mom hit $100,000 in 6 months. She has 2 kids, single mom, following this process, learning what it takes, to make money passively. And it's no different than, let's say you're an eBay seller and you want to learn whatnot. It's just learning. It's learning new skills. It's learning how that other system works. That's all that it is learning something new, learning high profit skills. When you learn in this kind of industry, it really is a high profit industry that actually employers are looking for. And I've heard other stories where people have been able to go and get jobs because of what they've been able to do in their own business. And other companies see that and they're going, I need your help. And they're paying, I heard about somebody who went from kind of a low level job, maybe $40,000 a year. His boss called him in. I hear about what you're doing. You're going to start doing this. And I'm paying you $100,000 a year, like overnight, because he invested in himself and started learning these skills. So exciting for me to be able to see the stories that are happening, the lives that are being changed, people who have come out of poverty, who have come out of having to go to a food bank and get food for their family, people who have been living in an apartment and seeing this, following this process, using a system that's built for them. So everything that I mentioned, again, those web pages, all of that automated email with what I'm sharing with you, it's all done for you. And to see somebody come in, learn those types of skills for the online space with digital products, and go from living in an apartment, not knowing how they're going to pay for new tires for their car and how they're going to cover all the expenses, having a online boutique and it's failing and going, what am I going to do? And they start learning and it changed everything. Have been able to go and pay cash for a house in a gated community, have been able to have that time back with their family, of not having to struggle through life, of not having to work sun up to sundown, but having a system that's out there. Now, I am going to clarify, I would never be telling you that you can just sit on the beach all day, stay in bed all day, and make money. If it were that easy, we would all be gazillionaires. I don't know if that's a word, but I've just made it up. Right? You have to learn new skills. You have to try new things. You have to follow a process. But the same process that I'm sharing with you is working for so many other people. I meant to actually look inside of our community of people who are, having success with this. But I believe there's well over 40,000. It's probably, it's probably over 50,000. I forgot to look at the number before I hopped on here. But that is how many people are having success with this. And then I wanted to also hit on that it's going to help you get to your goals sooner. So maybe you've got some goals. I kind of mentioned those goals at the beginning of maybe you have goals to pay off debt. Maybe you have goals to, be able to take that dream vacation. And you're going, how is it ever going to happen? And then a bill comes, medical bill comes, appliance breaks, TV breaks. I know what that's like. That's been my life. That's life. That's what happens. But what if you were able to be able to get past those, to have money in your account where you don't have to worry, where you can have that peace at night to be able to sleep and go, I've got this covered. I'm okay. If an unexpected expense pops up, I'm good. I've got the savings and I'm reaching my goals sooner than I thought possible. So I just want to give you that as an encouragement that your goals are closer than you think. Now you might be wondering, like, how? So I've mentioned about learning new skills, and it does take showing up. It does take learning. It does take applying what you're learning. And you might be wondering how selling a digital product differs from selling, say, an item on eBay, an item on Poshmark, where you just go and list, take pictures. It's sitting there. Somebody comes along and buys it. You're probably, if you're here, I'm guessing that you're familiar with, that kind of general process. With digital, it's going to be quite a bit different. But again, it's just a skill that you're learning. And it's a skill that's going to be helpful in other spaces. For example, the person who got that huge pay raise, it could be helpful if you maybe have an online business that you've been trying to get off the ground and you can't. It can be helpful to, maybe you want to have some sort of other online business and you don't know where to start. You feel like so confused about all these different options. And do I do this? Do I do that? This can give you those skills to be able to master that, to be able to make money. And I want to also stress that there's multiple options for every personality to be able to have success with this. There's some options that are social media, but I know that a lot of people are not, in love with social media. And I'm kind of one of those people that would raise their hand for that. And so there are other options for non-social media to be able to get those leads into your system, because that's primarily what it is. Your work during the day, and this is all based around a 2-hour system. During that 2 hours, you're simply getting leads over to your lead page. And then from there, the whole rest of the sales process is automated. It's not sounding like she's going back to sleep. So I'm going to try and get through the rest quickly and wrap this up, be able to answer any questions. I hope that it is not too loud. And there's options for non-social media if you're not a social media person. And it can be as easy as what is called free ad sites, where people are going to look for jobs, ways to make money from home, business opportunities, posting to there and getting them to go over to your lead page to learn more. So that is just, one small example, but there are many. And inside of the program that I'm talking about, you actually get all of the training to have success in multiple different ways. So there's not just one path to success. There are people having success in multiple ways, multiple routes to be able to get there that fit with really any personality. And I also want to just quickly hit on, this is not about bugging friends and family about, being that annoying person that's always selling something. That's not what this is. So I want to go ahead and just kind of break down with the particular program that I have had success with, and that tons of other people are having success with. Now, I also want to just kind of touch on. I do have, a little bit of a following. If you're here on my YouTube, you know that I have a few thousand subscribers right now. So I would rather share, other people who are having success that had no following, who had no prior sort of online business experience, who had no tech skills. And I did not set this up correctly to be able to share my screen, but tons of people inside of our community who are brand new to the online space. We had a story not too long ago, somebody in her 60s, almost blind, can't get a job because of that impairment, and start learning these skills, start having success. Another man in his 80s following this process, having success. To me, those stories are so encouraging because literally anybody can do this from 18. So 18 is the minimum. 18 up to 108, we'll say, can have success with this. It just takes the willingness to learn new skills, the willingness to show up, the willingness to be consistent and follow through, and really be committed to your dreams. I believe that you're here because your dreams and goals are important to you. Making that money for your family is important to you. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of break down specifically for this program. There's several different kind of programs like this where you get master resale rights, but the very best one that I found, and the only one that I'm involved with at all, is the one that I'm sharing with you. And it is called the Legacy Builder Program. You actually get 4 income streams with that. And you get income streams. I'm going to show this to you so you can see this as well. But you get $900, a $600, a $300, and a $100 income stream with that. So you have the ability to have basically 4 income streams that are out there working for you on autopilot. And the cool thing, the way that this works, is this $900 one, that's called the Legacy Builder. And that's really about helping you build that legacy for your family, getting you to your goals, way sooner than you ever thought possible. The 600 is called Digital Mastery, and that's kind of a step down from Legacy Builder. Legacy Builder gives you all of the training to have multiple streams of income that are automated. That's the best part for me, is having that automated source of income. As a mom, as having 4 kids, I can't do it all. And so to have a system like that that's out there working for me. The $300 is called Passive Daily Pay, and that is kind of the basics of setting up a passive system. And then the $100 is called the Launch Pad. I'm going to go ahead and write those down for you. But when you, let's say you join at the Legacy Builder level, you actually get the resale rights for all of the products under it. So the $900 Legacy Builder, you get basically, if you add these all up, that adds up to $1,900. You get $1,900 worth of income streams. It's like an extra $1,000 of income streams that you get. Example, if you join at the Digital Mastery, you would get the $600 income stream and then the ones below it. So you'd always get that product and then the ones below it. You wouldn't have the ability to be able to make $900 and have $900 coming in, unless you upgraded to that. So hopefully that makes sense. But to me, to be able to have $1,900 worth of income streams, by the way, this one right here, the Legacy Builder, is by far the best selling program inside of our community. That is the most desirable. That is the one that by far, the most people join at that level. So it might be easy to think, oh, it's a lot easier to sell 100. It's not. This 900. And you think about that. So if you think, you had 10 sales at $900, how much is that? Add on another zero, $9,000. If you had 10 sales at 100, that's $1,000. It's still pretty good, but 9,000 is suddenly life-changing. So that's kind of how the breakdown works of that master resale right specifically for this program. And then see if there was one other thing that I wanted to mention about this. I will be giving 1 hour one-on-one consultation, and this is today only, for anybody joining at the Legacy Builder or the Digital Mastery level. And with any of these, This is the only, it's, you have this, and then you have a one-time $29 fee to be able to get your website, but you don't have, it doesn't cost anything to be able to get the system for the emails. There's no any kind of hidden upsells or any ongoing expenses. Like that is literally it. So you think if you could, this would be the equivalent. I'm going to put this in reseller terms. You know, you walk into a thrift store. We'll go back to we'll do a vintage coat. You walk in and get a vintage coat. You can only sell that one time, right? It's gone. You got to go start over again. You got to go get some, more things, take photos, go and, list them, ship them. That's an endless cycle. It's this kind of hamster wheel, if you will. The equivalent of this, in putting this in reseller terms, would be equivalent of going and getting that amazing vintage jacket and then being able to sell it multiple times, 10, 20, 30, 40, unlimited times without having to go and go back and go get more inventory, go take pictures again, go ship again, do all of the things again. So I want you to try and grasp that of how that could change your life. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I will be sending out the link to be able to actually, if you have not gone here yet, I'm going to send out the link. Let me see actually if I can go ahead and put it in the chat right now. So what I'm actually going to give you is the page or the link in the chat for this page. So this will have that place to put in your email. You'll be able to see the exact system that you get. You'll be able to see that video page. These were all done for me. So the video page, I believe, is the same. This one I went and put my picture on, so it's me. That's basically what I did to that. This video page, that's what you're given. And then that sales page, that's what you're given. Like you don't have to come up with what to say, how to say it, how to design it, how to even build a web page. It's given to you, a plug and play, like putting in your name, basically. So let me see if I can go ahead and put that here in the chat, and hopefully I get this all typed up correctly. Empowered. Okay, that should be there in the chat now. And again, what I'm going to do is when you go there, then I'm going to be sending out an email later this afternoon. And just as a quick reminder that for anybody joining today, and this is today only, it's gone after today, at either of these, then I will be, setting up that one-on-one call with you to make sure that you're on the right foot, make sure that you're, going down the right track, able to make your money back. Now, the other thing that I want to mention about this is there are payment plans. Oh yes, you can see my baby loves those. There are payment plans for all of these, but with the legacy builder, and this is going to depend on what country you're looking at from. It's also going to depend on, of course, things like your credit score, but there are options for payment plan. As for what I've seen, at least on my end, as little as about $58. And what that actually gets you is instant access to everything and the ability, like to have $1,900, 58, 1,900, to have that ability to be able to make $1,900 or have $1,900 of income streams immediately. Like you don't have to wait till it's paid off, or you don't have to wait for, ways down the road, but to get started like right now with $58. Again, that number, that's going to vary depending on your specific situation. But I just want to throw that out there and, make sure that that that's an option, because that is crazy to be able to, tiny, like you can't even take a family out for dinner for that much these days. And then to be able to have that, and lots of people do go that route. Go and, get their first sale, go and pay that off and never even have to have, any sort of interest or payments going on for that. So that is a really good option to get started. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. If you've got questions, I would love to be able to get those answered about how this works. And I know for me, I was totally skeptical about if it would work, how it would work. And so I got started. I'll tell a little bit of my story. I'll give you a little bit of time to, if you think of anything, put your questions in the chat. I'll tell you a little bit kind of about how I got started. It was about May, June last year. And I heard about this. I'm like, this is really interesting, especially coming from a reselling background. Okay, I resell physical products. You can resell digital. I had no idea. And so I did get started, and then I wanted to make sure that it worked. I wanted to make sure, um, you know, just following the process that it worked before I started going and telling friends and family, before I started using the channels where I do have, a following, where I have influence, where, I do have, that following, like here on YouTube, my email list, for example. I didn't, mention it to friends and family. So I just started following the process and started seeing money come in from a place where where I had zero following, brand new to, like, started from the ground up. So I just want to encourage you in that you don't have to have a following. You're going to learn, if you want to go the social media route and you want to do that, you're going to learn inside. And again, like I mentioned, there's other options to be able to have success with that. All right. So again, the link is here. I'm not seeing any questions. Again, the Legacy Builder Digital Mastery, anybody joining at those today only, you will get that one-on-one call with me to make sure that you get this all, you're headed down the right direction, that you're going to reach that 100,000 this year. And I know that you can. Like, let me just hit on this one more time. Would you rather go, having to sell 455 items a month, or just 10? Like 10, that is all that it takes. That's, one sale every 3 days approximately. That is it. So again, the link is in the comments. I'll be sending out an email if you've got questions that you want to be able to ask me later. Maybe you don't feel comfortable here in the chat. Just reply to any of the emails from me, whether it's my Listing to Freedom email or my Empowered Passive Income email, any of those. Those are ways to be able to get a hold of me. And, if you've got questions you want to ask personally, and then I will make sure that I get back with you this afternoon. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I'm glad that my voice is still working, and then be able to go get the baby before she's really ready for me to go get her. All right. So I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining me. And I know that you can reach 100,000 for yourself this year. And there's, again, multiple ways to be able to do that. If you want to sell physical products, have digital as kind of a supplement. If you want to go all in with physical products, and, how much time you're going to have to put in, there's people that do that. You can go that route if that's a route you want to go. But really, it's up to you. And either route you go, I am here to support you every step of the way. I've got tons more amazing content planned, already scheduled out. So I will be here throughout the year to be able to support you, in either route that you go, or if it's both routes. And I am here for you. I believe in you. And I know that you can do this, that 100,000 you can reach this year. I'm believing that you're going to get out of debt, that you're going to have money to, maybe go and buy a house, put a down payment towards a house, to be able to have maybe savings in the bank and have that peace of mind. I know that you can do it, and I'm here to be able to support you. So again, I want to thank you so much. It's such an honor to be able to hang out with you this afternoon. And I'm going to go ahead and wish you the best and go ahead and tell you goodbye. I will be around. Again, if you've got questions, the place to be able to ask is inside, is by replying to an email. So if you hit reply, that's going to come straight to me. And then I'll be able to answer whatever questions that you have. Yes, thanks, Tracy, and hope to see you soon. All right, bye.